I think I mentioned this to you before, but how about this idea? What is a good therapy session? You're my therapist. I come in and say, oh, Dr. Solms, I had a tough week. This happened or that happened. I'm depressed or I'm anxious or all kinds of things that are disturbing me. And I'm telling you the story so that you can hear it. And little by little, I notice that you're really getting it. And whatever you say, I feel understood. And suddenly I'm out of the story, the negative, and I'm into you as the positive, engaging, caring. You want the best for me. Maybe my parents didn't, all of that. It's almost like the flash technique in slow motion. I think if you have a good session where somebody feels catharsis or just feel heard, that's the relationship is so important in therapy. We know the whole, your points about the cognitive fallacy the cortical fallacy that you've been trying to let people know about for about 20 years, I think, at least. And what we're talking about here is a paradigm shift from exposure therapy is the only way to go. So let me ask about that. Is that extinction? They're working off the extinction idea for exposure therapy?
Yeah, it's not quite extinction. I know the word is used loosely, but when it was originally introduced, we didn't have a better word, and it literally meant the memory is extinguished. It's no longer there.
That's wrong.
So reconsolidation hadn't yet been discovered. So I think that what we're talking about is not extinction so much as reconsolidation. In other words, the same memory, but in a different form. An updated version of the memory. And what you said earlier, a few minutes ago, about a good session, I absolutely agree with what you said there. There's a paper, I'll have to dig out the reference. It's by Richard Lane. He's from Phoenix, Arizona.
L-A-N-E or Lang?
L-A-N-E, yes, Richard Lane, L-A-N-E, and others, but he was the first author. And it's in a journal called Behavioral and Brain Sciences, and it came out about 5 years ago. And it's on the brain mechanisms of different forms of psychotherapy. But it's a very good paper, as it would have to be in order to get into Behavioral and Brain Sciences, because that fabulous journal. In fact, I wrote a commentary on it. In Behavioral and Brain Sciences, they were the pioneers of that format, that there's a target article and then open peer commentary. And then a reply by the author. So he basically said, in many more words, what you've just said, which is that really what is therapeutic is something about the distressing experience being metabolized, becoming contained, becoming manageable because of the experience of it being digested for you by the therapist. In other words, and in psychoanalysis, they use the word containment. That the affect is contained. The therapist provides a container. It doesn't billow out all over the place. It's kind of like being held, by a mother. So the child's all distressed, and the mother doesn't get distressed, doesn't get into a sort of a mutually reinforcing cycle of distress with the child. The mother's calm. The mother's not distressed. Mother says it's going to be okay. The mother can bear it. And then the child learns, oh, this is bearable. Okay. And then so they calm down. And then the next time they're in that sort of situation, they have not only their distress, but also the memory that this too will pass. This can be managed. And so you internalize this. And I think that the flash technique, as you say, is a focused version of that.
Yes.
It's a focused version of a good session where, you know, the technique formalizes the process of you're having a very distressing thing, and you know, this thing will make it less distressing. And you don't have to do anything. It'll just, you know, so it's like containment or what did they used to call it? What was that word? Corrective emotional experience.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That's
I think you would enjoy that paper by Richard Lane.
well.
You should take a look at it.